One of the big intimidation factors for building a business or growing a community online is all the preparation you have to do to make things happen. We all know there's ways to automate these things with AI, but it feels so intimidating to just get started. So in this video, I want to show you my new technique for managing the AI Captain's community calls every week, where I hardly have to lift a finger besides what I would do anyway to come up with the discussion topics for the week. This all happens on Telegram and N8N, and it's super simple, it's super fun, and I hope you enjoy. Let's go. There is so much possible with AI agents that it's almost overwhelming unless you have a really unique problem that you need to solve and you know AI can do it. So case in point is I've been having fun making directories, making N8N workflows, but I haven't really been using them a lot for like real life purposes because I've just been trying to learn, make YouTube videos about what I've learned. But now I'm finally able to put that into action, and I'm really excited about this workflow. So I want to show you it. This is called the AI Captain's Calls bot, and it's actually got two stages. This is actually the second stage. The first stage is this My Weekly Content Insights bot, and I made a YouTube video about this before, but what this does is it scrapes a bunch of my favorite feeds, mostly from Substack. Eventually I'm going to get this to scrape podcasts and transcribe them as well, but it's just all my favorite publications that are free. It compiles them all. It takes all the RSS text, it normalizes them, it processes through them to find out what's going on. And then it sends me a message saying, hey, here's what's going on this week. And this all comes from, I'm a guy that doesn't have a lot of time to consume content. I listen to podcasts like maybe once a day when I take a walk. But other than that, I don't have time to read and stuff. Like I'm busy. I got kids, I'm building. So this just gives me summaries, and it gives me links to the full article, and it also takes insights from each article and says, hey, this is all the stuff going on. So I can keep updated without having to go doom scroll on Twitter and stuff. And so that's what this one does. So then part two, this comes from a need for the AI Captain Skool. So the AI Captain Skool is launching soon, and we're launching our first call. There's a link down below. You get a free 7-day trial. You can join the first call in that trial. But essentially, every week, it's kind of a lot of work to host a call, right? Especially to keep everyone engaged, keep value being provided. So what I've done here is made a Telegram bot that will capture the ideas I want to incorporate into the community call. And what I'll do is I'll copy and paste some of the notes that came from the Weekly Content Insights bot. It's like, oh, those look interesting. Let's explore that. I'm interested in getting the community's perspective. So I'll copy and paste that, and then I'll paste this in here. I'll tag the bot, then say, great, I've created a new section for the community call, and then it puts it in a Google Doc, and it's this one. And then there it is. It could be a little cleaner here, but it's actually pretty clean. And it gives me a whole Google Doc on what we're going to talk about on July 28th. Now, this is our first call, so this was all going to evolve a lot. But really, the cool part here is that I have a chat interface. It's an agent for doing things for me to make my life easier. And so then also, I got Greg Eisenberg's latest email. I thought it was really valuable, so I summarized it, and then I said, hey, add this to the call. Great, we've added it to the call agenda, and it tells me everything where it's stored. And then what happens is every week, right before the call, basically a few hours before the call, it's going to retrieve these Google Docs, check it out, and then I'm using Venice uncensored because it's a quick model on their API, and it's pretty powerful. And I just say, hey, take the following notes and information, create a structured outline for our community call. And so every week it automatically schedules that trigger, and it sends us a Telegram message saying, hey, here's the community call outline for July 28th. And it gives me this whole thing. I could parse it in HTML. I don't really care. I prefer Markdown. Even with these pound, hashtag, whatever you want to call them, number signs, I actually just always prefer Markdown. I think it's just like a really nice language. But here it is. Here's like a whole outline for our call. And essentially, I can tell it how to do it whenever we want. So for example, I add here in the system prompt, the outline does not need to be created on a topic by topic basis, but when possible, we can merge the topics and create new subjects that would be better discussion material. So we give it a little creativity, because maybe in all these notes there could be stuff that overlaps. And all that overlap stuff could mean, oh, hey, there's some good topics here. So this could also be a great workflow for a podcast or a newsletter or any kind of content creation. So I'm going to run through the N8N workflow with you here. Okay, so I guess N8N's having trouble loading this right here, but this is where the original workflow comes from. Thank you, Joseph Lepage. So I forked this, and you can get this original one for free from N8N Workflows. But if you want this version, I'm going to put the JSON in the terminal navigation toolkit. There's going to be a link below where you can get it, and some other workflows I've been working on. And really the main difference here is the Telegram trigger in the beginning. We trigger it with Telegram, not the N8N chat. So as you can see in the Telegram trigger, this is restricted to a chat ID. So no one else is able to access this unless they're in this chat ID with us. Then there is an if router. So if the message contains the bot's name, then keep going. And next up, I'll add replies. So if it's a reply, it'll also work. But for now, we keep it simple. Without that, otherwise, without this router, the bot will just respond to everything you say in the chat. And you probably don't want that if you're in a group chat. If you're in a regular chat, it's probably what you want. And then it connects to the Google Docs and it retrieves these two documents, it merges them together, aggregates all the data, and then sends it to this AI tools agent. And now here is a system prompt, which I've also forked to match my specific needs. And then down at the very bottom, we call the JSON data from those Google Docs that we retrieved. Now I have this agent running through Anthropic. I feel like Claude just does a really good job at like more creative tasks. I probably could switch this to Venice, and I probably will to save on costs. Because as you see on Venice, if you're staking their token, then you get a certain amount of API usage every day. And for me, it's about $11 of API per day, which is actually quite a bit of usage, and it just resets every day. If I run out, it resets the next day. So that's why I like using Venice for automated bots for tasks that aren't terribly complicated or require a ton of creativity. Venice uses open source models. It's all private and encrypted. I have a referral link down below. I really recommend everyone check out Venice, especially if it's more private things you're trying to do instead of coding. So the AI tools agent then has its own memory for the actual chat room, and then it will save new memories and notes to the document. So it has access to the tools. And this is what's cool about the AI tools agent inside N8N. You give it memory and you give it tools. And then in the system prompt, you remind it that it has tools. So it knows it has tools. And then there's another router here, which actually may be left over from when I was trying to debug something, but this just says if the original message contained the bot name, then we're gonna respond. So I actually probably don't even need that one, but if it's gonna break, I'm gonna do it when I'm not recording. So that's the bot itself for just chatting. Hey, add this to the chat. That's what happens behind the scenes, and then it adds it. And then I can also just prompt it, hey, show me what we have for July 28th, and it'll pull up everything inside these documents as per its retrieval, and I can say, okay, great. And then once a week, a few hours before the call, there's a scheduled trigger. Once a week on Tuesdays at 6 a.m. It'll then retrieve everything again. And this one does use Venice uncensored. And that's it. We have a prompt here. We already went through this, but then it has one tool, which is Venice chat. And then it sends it to Telegram. And then we have the outline. It's there, so we don't even need to worry about preparing too much for the call because our AI agent took care of it while we were essentially waking up in the morning. So just wanted to share this with you. If you want to join us in our call tomorrow, that would be awesome. Come check it out with the free 7-day trial. There's some valuable resources here if you're trying to learn how to vibe code, how to get your computer ready, how prompting works, and then the 4 phases of vibe coding, as I call it. And then I think more importantly, if you're really trying to learn to build, there's a lot of us learning to build with AI that don't know how the code actually works, don't know how to use a command line, don't know the infrastructure of projects. So the AI Captain's Command Line Bootcamp here, maybe you've seen the email course I offer. This is like way, way more evolved. So we got everything in here for mastering the command line, learning the basics of how code works and how to recognize Python or JavaScript patterns and things like that, how APIs work, how Git works, dependencies, etc. And then the coolest part is you get access to the Content Commander Challenge in the Skool, which is a full-on build your own app step by step, and it'll pretty much hammer home all the things you learn in these first 2 courses. So you can really feel confident as you're learning to build apps. Because I know for me, building just with AI feels like I'm just kind of floating and I'm at the whims of one of these companies like changing the way they do things or going out of business. But when you learn the actual fundamentals, the foundation of how this tech infrastructure works with online to build with AI, web apps, then you have a lot more under your own control and you can be more flexible in case things do happen and you need to change your AI service, for example. So cool, maybe we'll see you there. Otherwise, I'll see you in a new video coming soon. Have fun with your AI agents.